Welcome back to another episode of Road to William. I got my cousin here, Ashley, from I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. I'm gonna let you uh tell us about your channel and tell us where we can tap in and join your community.
Yeah, you can follow me on all platforms. Ashley, I be ballin'. And my show is called I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. And I cover NBA news, WNBA news, cover all the trades and free agencies. I just did a video about the WNBA draft that just happened. And I'm gonna do a NBA playoff review this week. Go also, I cover different basketball movie reviews and NBA 2K videos. So, a lot of things surrounded by basketball.
Yeah, go check out I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. Um, Today we're doing a movie review on a classic film, Friday. Uh, but before we do that, before we dive into all the parts, what was your favorite part of the film? Offer it. Like you rewatched it, but it's always gonna be your favorite part. Which one is it?
I like the scene where Bernie Mac's character comes in and, he's kind of funny because he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really act like a, you know, preacher would, staring at the lady's butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he went over to her house, and probably was sleeping with her, right? And then he was started running because
Mm-hmm.
the husband was there, and the husband's a midget. So I really do like that part.
Mm-hmm.
um and like all the cameos of the stars, that was cool. That was cool to see, Paula J. Parker making good, Yvette.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of the film. Oh man, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But my favorite part would be when they're just sitting on the porch and just kicking it. And they basically people watching, like, and but it's just two friends, trying to find a way. But I did like the cameos too. Um, there was so the person who plays Felicia, her name is Angela Means, and I did a video on her a while back. So go check out that video. But she's she explained what she felt like Felicia character was to the movie. And I'm gonna find a clip and put it in, but she has said, like, because when you're a character, you have to kind of like tap in and create that character within yourself. And so she kind of explained in that video about like Felicia was like actually going through it. She wasn't on drugs. Um, but that kind of like rewatching it, and I'm gonna let you go after me, but rewatching it, I realized like Felicia and Debbie are sisters, live in the same household, and it's almost kind of like you do want to see. We was talking about spinoffs earlier, and it's like that would be interesting to see like a spinoff of Felicia in a film, or it ain't gotta be just a movie. I feel like nowadays, unless it's like a movie like Sinners or Woman in the Yard, like I think if we want to do spinoffs, you kind of gotta look to 50 Cent in those routes. He's probably the best person who does the best spinoffs. And if they did a spinoff on Felicia's character, how she grew up, add Nia Long, and Nia Long's still out here acting. We see she got a movie she's gonna be playing. Um, Catherine Jackson for the Jackson 5 film coming up for Michael. I mean, keep people still want to act, people still want to work. That's why they're fighting so hard on the streets. That's why they had their protests. People still want to do this work because it's important. We call these movie reviews and we're just watching film, but you can really learn a lot through watching films. It's just one of the ways you can learn, in addition to all the other ways we learn. But before I do that, what rewatching it did you notice? But before that, I noticed that with Debbie and Felicia, like their mom, you know, got the house for them, and she kind of like, well, y'all grown enough. I'm about to do my thing, so she's not paying attention to what's like going on, and like Debbie can only be really a sister to her sister, but she kind of had to step up and be a mother too, because okay, although the mom is like, okay, y'all good, y'all got a house, y'all got a roof over your head, food on the table. It's like that's not enough because you still got to be there to make sure stuff doesn't happen like that. Like your daughters was being abused by this man taking over the house, and no one could do anything about that, you know. Um, but I thought that was an interesting rewatching it. That kind of like stuck out to me, and I do after after you like tell me what you noticed after rewatching it. I do want you to add on and talk about what you were telling me just before we started, where you were like, "This theory is out there about Craig's mother." What's going on with that? But yeah, what was your favorite part rewatching it? Or not favorite
Part?
part, but what was there a part you noticed that like stuck out to you after rewatching it as an adult?
Well, I noticed that, I noticed that, they changed the different, you know, they changed, it was color. And then sometimes when Smokey would, tell stories that happened, it would switch to like black and white. I also really liked the music that was in the movie. And I noticed, like, oh wow, Ice Cube and Nia Long, they've been in so many movies together. Are we there yet? And, Boys in the Hood. But, speaking of spinoffs, Debo could have got a spinoff. Um, but even, Craig's father could have, think a lot of the characters, like not like main characters, but like side characters could get a lot of spin-offs, depending on who creates it.
Mhm.
But oh, I also noticed, they just make you feel good, the the hood movies, just seeing the neighborhood and the different houses and the grass,
Mm.
seeing the kids get excited about ice cream truck or whatever that was,
Mhm.
and then the kids were excited, but they didn't get nothing from that other dude.
Mhm.
Um, what's his name? Love, Faison Love.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
but oh, the theory that is circling, and I just noticed it on Facebook. Some people are like, no, that's a read, you know, but there's some fans that are saying Craig's mother was cheating, um, was cheating, on the husband.
Mm.
And I was like, what? And
Mhm.
then because the phone kept ringing, basically they saying like, oh, maybe Bernie Mac's character, the preacher, was trying to hook up with the mother, but
Oh.
she wasn't there and everybody's at work, but Craig got fired.
Oh.
So, because I guess the cable guy was supposed to call or something, but Some it gotta do with the phone and Bernie Mac, but it
Hmm.
seemed like if Bernie Mac was cheating with Craig's mom, it seemed like he was cheating with a lot of people if he went next door. But I don't believe it. I think people just stretching the, they're just looking for anything now.
But, hold on. I will say this. When we watched Eve's Bayou, okay, the dad was supposed to be a doctor. He's supposed to be helping people when they're sick. Talking about you stay outside, baby. I'm about to work on that. Excuse? Why would you bring your daughter to work then? Sick of, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
let's not be like, oh, because he's a preacher, you think he doing right. He clearly wasn't doing right. Look, just look across the street. And he did come at an interesting time. You know what I mean? Like, you just missed it. This seemed
Hmm.
routine for you. Why are you only asking for it? They don't even seem like they really that religious. Because look, they they banged on the door, the two ladies banged on that door that morning. And they was like, why are you knocking at our door? That kind of set the tone of like their household. I don't know. That's an interesting theory. I did want to put out some names, and there was some people who are OGs, forever OGs in the game, goats in the game. And it was a lot of cameos. Oh, that's my rice. I'm gonna have to edit this part out. We're going to commercials.
Shout out to the cameos. John Witherspoon. I also made the
Yeah.
connection of the Wayne brothers too, because John
Oh.
Witherspoon, he's in the Wayne brothers
Mm-hmm.
show, but
Yeah.
also the mother is as well,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anna Marie Horsford.
Mm-hmm.
And so
She's
I was
on
like, oh,
TikTok.
oh, she is.
She be on TikTok.
Okay,
She tapped
okay.
in. Her and the mama off at half and half. Both of them. But yeah, and some fallen people as well. AJ Johnson and Yvette Wilson and Bernie Mac. And probably maybe some others. I don't know, but those are just some of the few that oh, Red Fox. Um it just felt like movies like this just felt like they was just free to do what they really wanted to without, the politics of it. Like Friday came right after Boys in the Hood, you know, and for Ice Cube to create this and then so many others after, it just kind of shows like start where you are because he just used to know how to write raps, but it was John Singleton and among others who like helped guide him like okay, is he took it as like it kind of structured his view on how to make movies is similar to how he made songs and making a music video, just different things like that. So I think this is a good movie to reflect on and a good movie just to put on. Like it's a good movie to just kind of pop pop on whenever. Um, who is your favorite character in the film?
Mm, I would probably say Chris Tucker, Smokey, and just the way he would say things, his facial expressions was funny,
Mm.
and you know, it just made Chris Tucker a star. and then he went on to
Mm,
do Rush Hour and stuff. I guess
mm,
he don't want to do Friday because he don't want to smoke no more. I guess,
mm,
or like betray someone that's smoking weed. I guess. But they said they would pay him a ton of money. Maybe you can say, I don't personally smoke weed, just my character does. But
mm.
it did open up the door for Mike Epps to, roll in there too. So
Right, right.
that's all right. And,
Hmm.
it helped him with his career. And,
Maybe he's the new, preacher, because at the end of the film, he was like, I know he said he was joking, but on next Friday, his character got wrapped up and basically said like he went to rehab. So it's like maybe that is the route he goes since he don't want to
yeah,
smoke. He ain't gotta smoke weed if he don't, because I think it's religious regions like too.
yeah,
And so it's like you don't want to force nobody to do it if they ain't got it. You ain't got to smoke weed to be a weed actor. I've seen interviews where actors have said like they got to play a drunk person. They're like, and they don't drink. It's just like tapping in. So he don't got to play a character where he compromises his morals, his values. Work it in. But who knows? That was years ago when we heard that. So it's like, who knows? And I don't think they would play all their cards in front of us either. Like I think there's a movie new Friday on the way now. So it's like they could have been talking behind the scenes. But I just ready to be surprised, entertained. This is a good film to throw on. 420 is Sunday. Also Easter as well first. Um, I don't know if y'all been doing Lent or anything. I had gave up soda and I fumbled a few times, but um but it kind of showed me like I don't it's something I already wanted to cut out or cut back on anyway. So um I've been drinking like bubblies. They got like different flavors. It's like this strawberry sunset. They got a Bellini one. I'm like, yo. So, I gave that up and it taught me like I can give up, anything. I can give up that. So and it tastes good too. It's like I'll switch to it, but do it taste good? I don't want it to taste watery. I like that bubbly. Anyway, yeah. Thoughts on the film? What was the lesson you learned?
uh, well, I think the lesson is, well, I think the lesson mainly was they was, I feel like the father was teaching Craig because he said it like, you know, his generation used to fight with the hands, not, the guns and pow pow. And
Mm,
Craig had the chance to, shoot him, but instead they went off to the classic fight offs.
mm,
And, he knocked Debo out, but he had to use a couple of objects. That's how you know you real big when you gotta get knocked around with, you know, like trash cans and stuff. And Chris Tucker's character Smokey was like he wasn't helping fighting, but he was just in the audience commentating and stuff. That was funny. So
mm,
fight with your hands or maybe fight with your mind. Instead of the violence of, guns and knives and, just make sure the person lives another day. Oh, yeah, shout out to Debo, RIP, Tommy Lester Jr. And, oh, shout out to Regina King. She's, a legend. Oh, I like uh Paula J. Parker, Nia Long.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so many characters, and you'd be like, look at them now, get
Megan
them now.
Good.
Oh, yeah, Megan Good, she was little. I said, oh, she looked the same.
Mhm.
Am I still there?
Yeah.
Um, what did I do? Okay. But also, so I was rolling the credits, right? And I saw her name down there, Terry J. Vaughn
Oh
or Terry
yeah.
Vaughn. And I said, she was in there? I guess she played a character named China. I didn't recognize her until I saw it in the credits. I
Remember
can
when they was on the porch and she came up to them and they was like, what the, because she needed her hair braided. And then at the end, when the fight was over, the dad was trying to act like he was fighting her, and she was like, "Stop!" You don't remember that? Hmm?
I know it was somebody that the father, right? The father, he was looking at her like he wanted to be with her, and the
Hmm?
wife was standing next to him.
I
And
don't know
was
what you're
that the
talking about.
girl? I'm sorry, Terry J. Vaughn, but I didn't recognize you. I didn't
She wasn't
recognize
in it
you.
as much, but she was. Yeah, she was in it enough for you to be like, "Oh, that's her."
Oh,
You said, "Isn't?" I thought she has a movie with Tyler Perry coming out.
yeah, like a TV show I heard,
Oh,
like
okay, it's a
She the
show.
People or something. So that's cool,
Oh, okay, nice.
because everyone needs their big moment, their big, shining moment to
And
make a comeback.
I took from this film, my lesson was you gotta believe in yourself. Um, because that part was very significant when he was talking with his pops. Like it's like a something to take with you on the road, you know, that just because there's a new wave of doing it don't mean that's the right way because you gotta think about his parents grew up in a different time than they have. They saw other things as well. And so it's kind of like preventing this cycle. And sometimes you just need a quick, and in those moments, you don't always need to sit them down preachy like the Menace to Society, where the grandfather's like, come sit with me and let me tell you about it. Even though a lot of times you don't need that. Sometimes you do, like in that hot moment, a quick talk. Because he prevented a lot, and he was there to remind him that about himself, that you don't need that extra stuff. You just gotta believe when it's time to fight, you know, do it the fair way. Um, and yeah, we could have tapped into the dad and his life because they said like get knocked out like your dad used to. So I think his past life he was a boxer, but then he retired and just started. He became a mailman. I don't know. They don't explain that, um, but yeah, we're gonna watch. We're gonna tap in. Stay tuned for the next Friday. We're doing the Friday trilogy, but we had to start with the classic Friday. Tell us your favorite Friday. What is your favorite Friday film?
Hmm, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. I do like the classic, obviously, because you're introduced to, the whole new world of Friday. But I
Mm,
do like the Friday of there was a Christmas one, right? Is that Friday
yeah,
after the next?
yeah.
After next?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that might be my favorite
Oh
because it's
wow.
like a little Christmassy.
Mm,
Aren't we introduced to Cat Williams in that one? Maybe.
yeah, yep.
So maybe that one. But they're both great, it's kind of hard. It's like, what's your favorite Harry Potter or Twilight movie? I don't know. It's too difficult. There's so many great ones.
I would say the first one because that like set the tone. Harry
Yeah.
Potter, the first one, Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know. Because if it wasn't for that one, then the other ones wouldn't even be here.
That's true.
And Twilight, the same. It's a classic. The first one's a classic. But the end of the Breaking Dawn part two,
Yeah,
oh,
they tricked you on that one. That was good.
it's rare when the ending is just as dope as the first one. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think the Maze Runner, they had a lot of different movies. That's probably
Mm,
underrated. I feel like
okay.
that saga was brilliant,
Hmm.
but I feel like it's not as hyped as, the
The
other stuff
others.
like Harry Potter and Twilight. Maze Runner was really good.
I tried it because I watched it with you at the house, but I was like, I'm good on this. But maybe in a different part of my life, I'm listening to it now. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Because at one point I watched a movie called The Hateful Eight. I'm like, dang, I must have been down in the dumps. That's a tough movie to watch. You hear the N word about 10 times every 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
But it's a good film. It's a good action film. It's just making good film because I like how Friday was intertwined with but it was comedy, it was drama, but then it got you some action when they drew out the gun, start shooting. Pow, 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 pow. Just imagine being in theaters, hearing and watching that for the first time. Um,
And
mhm.
this sound, dum 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 dum
Oh
dum.
yeah, that's a classic. Quick about that, Debo had a really big impact on movies and culture and people because I stay watching Tubi movies. I haven't watched one in a while. I haven't watched one in a while. So if you have a Tubi film I should watch, let me know in the comments. But there was I don't even remember the film, but it was like a comedy. It was almost a little bit of a Friday, but a little bit more dramatic. But they had a Debo character, and he kind of did look like Debo. I was like, whoa, like he kind of nailed him on point. But it was like them really paying homage to the character, especially Debo. But major impact. This movie um, unlocked a lot of uh, unlocked a lot of stars because, like you said, Regina King and multiple others. Like this movie was a lot of their start coming out. So I like seeing films where it's like you look back, like you don't know that you're making a hit because everybody's starting out in the beginning. You don't know where people are about to go, and then you look back and you're like, it all started with this film. But yeah, live your dreams, keep going, don't stop. And I heard that Miss Pat. I know you love Miss Pat, but I heard Miss Pat wants to be part of the Friday. So that kind of got me thinking. This will be the last question we can wrap up before we head back on the road. But I heard that Miss Pat wants to be in it, and that got me thinking, look, what would be your ideal cast in the upcoming film if you got to be like, look, consider these people. Who would you consider to be in the Friday film? And what direction do you think they should go?
Hmm. Well, a lot of the OGs should make an appearance because I think you know what? There was a video, a snippet. I don't know what year it was from, but I think it was Regina King and Nia Long. And they
Mhm.
were like, oh, yeah, we're not in the other Fridays and stuff like that. We're not in the other Fridays. We were a part of the first one, but we're not a part of the other ones. What's up
Oh
with that,
wow.
Ice Cube? But I think they were
Mhm.
joking. So
Yeah.
maybe make some cameos of like the OGs from
Yes.
the films. Like you gotta have, even if it's just for a scene.
Hmm.
It'd be funny if Megan Good
Oh.
It'd be funny if Megan Good popped up too.
Oh. Yeah,
That
that
would
would
be
be good.
funny. Um,
Bring
but
all of
yeah, a
them
lot
back,
of the
all the people.
OGs.
Hmm. Yeah, I think
Cat
that would be dope.
Williams. But I think I would like Miss Pat in there. Oh yeah, I know my big three. I
Okay, go
know
ahead.
the three I want.
Go ahead.
I want Miss Pat, Monique,
Mm,
and
mm.
I gotta get her name right. She, I gotta get her name right. Lunel or something. Lunel.
Oh yes, Lunel.
Oh man,
That would
she
be
got a
funny. Yes.
comedy. She got a comedy stand up on Netflix. You should watch it. It's hilarious. It's only an
Okay.
hour, but it's hilarious. Yes.
Yeah, I love watching stand up. I like I know Mike Epps got one. I gotta watch that one.
Here's some
Anytime
of the
Mike Epps
prop.
drop, I'm pretty much laughing. But yeah, I'll watch Lunel's too. Um, but yeah, I agree with you. I think DC Young Fly
Oh yeah,
should
that
be
would
in
be
it for
funny.
sure. I think Ice Cube was on 85 South show and he did say like, yeah, you know, we could talk. So yeah, if they don't have him in it, I'd be like, what? But so
He
yeah,
sounds just like Smokey. I mean,
yeah, he could be the son, like easy, like the saga continues.
oh,
Just keep going with the
the
Fridays.
son. And then Chris Tucker character Smokey obviously could say, "No, son, you're headed in the
Mm.
wrong direction, smoking all that weed. I used to be just like you."
But I
Could
know
tell.
like he DC really did give up smoking at some point.
That's good.
So he probably could relate to the character. So they could play with it. I mean, we just want it to be funny. Like it ain't gotta follow no certain line, but I think they should pay. They probably will, but at some point pay homage to the ones that were in the film some kind of way, whatever way that is. It ain't gotta be
Hmm.
nothing too serious. It could be something fun. It could be something lighthearted, but in their own way. That'll be dope.
Make sure you get the Latino character, no more locked doors.
Oh, that was so
He
funny. Yeah, that's
actually
next
blew
Friday.
up.
Mm-hmm.
He actually blew up. He's like in a lot of stuff. Like
Hmm.
obviously not a lot of black stuff, but he from going from that movie to now he blew up. Let me
Oh
see his
wow.
name. Jacob Vargas. Let me see. Oh, he was in the Selena movie, the original one. But yeah, he's
Who
been
did
in
he
a lot of
play?
stuff.
Who did he play? Her brother or something?
Hmm, Let me see.
I tried watching the series of Selena, but I never finished it. But it was good. The few episodes I watched.
I say there was even a series about the lady in real life that shot her because she was up for parole, but I think it was denied. But she
Yolanda.
was, yeah, she
I'ma
was
delete
telling
that.
her
Her name
side.
doesn't need to be said.
But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people blew up.
Hmm. But yeah, so thanks, cuz, for coming on the show. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and go check out Ashley's channel. I be balling basketball show. Uh, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.